Okay, it's February 12th, 2020, George Webb here in beautiful St. Thomas Island. And the island that you see directly across from us is Joe Biden's water island. And right above where I'm standing right now was the site of the old submarine base here in the Virgin Islands. I'll just show it to you this way, down this way. The ships here are aligned exactly in the place where the old submarines were located. And the reason why we keep going back to these places is it seems like, again, with these Biden Blackberries, with these Teneo Blackberries, encrypted Blackberries, that they seem to be this consortium of Jeff Epstein, the Biden's kids, Devin Archer, etc., this cadre, Huma Abedin, etc., this kind of outsourced State Department at Teneo, seems to be buying up these old military bases and developing them commercially, as well as laundering money from topples overseas like Libya, Syria, Sudan, Yemen, etc., and Ukraine. And the way this was organized, British Virgin Islands to our northeast. Here's the U.S. Virgin Islands. This was a key sub base for ship traffic and so forth. Obviously, the submarines being covert. Remember, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeff Epstein's supposed girlfriend, has a submarine company called TerraMar here. Would they be using the old bases for rat lines? Who knows? Drugs, weapons, bringing people in and out, exfiltration, who knows? But this is Joe Biden's island here. And this was a defensive island. There was emplacements, casements on the other side to basically protect the base over here on this side. And then the second one was sort of another barrier island named Bunker Island. And then the third set of islands, just a little bit further more to the east where we were today, if you were on Patreon, you saw Little St. James, was Great St. James and Little St. James Island, where there was more underwater facilities that were built. So again, makes us think that, hey, maybe the Bidens had this part of the defensive complex, maybe Epstein had that part of the defensive complex. But remember, we're not speculating. These folks are all tied together with the Teneo encrypted Blackberries. There is no doubt they're all connected in the same very small communications network. Okay. So that gives you a layout here. This would obviously be a good place of staging meetings for covert communications. We also showed you in the Patreon videos the communications tower that was put in. We showed you the $500 million port over there in Red Hook on the eastern side of the island. And remember, Jeff Epstein is half owner in the Red Hook port with the governor of this island. Remember, there's 3 islands in the Virgin Islands. There's St. Croix, there's St. John's, where we were earlier today, and also here in St. Thomas. So we drove by the Senate and the governor's mansion, etc. Jeff Epstein is in half with a $500 million, a $500 million investment. Do you think he's going to get a lot of trouble with customs? I don't think so. Basically, if you wanted to run any operation, covert weapons, drugs, you name it, exfiltrating secrets to China Nuclear Group. Remember, Hunter Biden's on his Teneo phone with Devin Archer and Billy Bulger, again, longtime criminal murderer, involved in lots of kiting of bonds for different unions, 10 different unions, in addition to the Sioux Indians. Again, usually that type of Ponzi scheming, kiting of bonds, etc., seems to go hand in glove with the financing of covert operations. Again, remember the Operation Underworld after World War II and during World War II between the CIA and the precursor of the CIA, the OSS, with organized crime in our major ports. Remember, this isn't only happening here, it's happening in Port Canaveral, again, a Triton submarine base there, again, a cruise ship port there as well. Again, you can bring a lot of people in, and you can disguise them as anything you want. A lot of people can go out in the same manner. And then you have to look around the world to the other places where this exact same thing happened with Teneo. Anatoly Deripaska bought up a lot of the old Russian Navy ports from the fall of the Soviet Union. And again, the same thing seems to happen with the mining resources and oil and gas resources with Teneo, the use of these phones for Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, etc., Kyrgyzstan. So we're taking you to these places. We're following. We're looking at actually the locations. We're going out on the water and actually showing you where it was. We're showing you the microwave tower. You saw a little St. James film earlier today on Patreon. You could see the precipice of the large, prominent hill on the one end of the island and the tower there. It's just a natural communication space. Again, remember the people that are in the uranium business, the uranium games in New Mexico, the Kings, not the King Ranch in Texas, but the Kings of New Mexico are in this business. They're financing this stuff here in the U.S. Virgin Islands, not just in New Mexico. Remember, all these folks from Urenco and all these people from a company called APCO flying all around with Jeff Epstein, flying to Sandia National Laboratories where our nuclear weapons are made, flying to Los Alamos where our nuclear reactor technology is, flying all around to new reactor sites in Eunice, New Mexico. All sorts of different technologies being tried out in various places. Seems like this is sort of an exfiltration point for that type of technology here, Port Canaveral, maybe a few other ports along the way. So we'll keep following this. We're going to be going to the Bahamas tomorrow. We're going to be talking about yet more islands that still are involved in covert shipments. This is Andros Island. This is where we're going to actually go the tongue of the ocean, which is this very deep channel between here, U.S. Virgin Islands, and the Bahamas, where once you get into that deep water, you're virtually impossible to track after you launch submarines through that channel. And then, of course, the Chinese, just right to the north, have a sub base, a new surreptitious sub base in Andros Island. So again, these are the places going all the way back to Bay of Pigs that seem to happen over and over, where covert missions are trained and then they're exported to places like Libya, Syria, Sudan, Yemen, and of course Ukraine. Okay, we're going to leave it right there tomorrow to the Bahamas. And we'll keep following up. Again, this seems like Jeff Epstein with one of those headsets up in Columbus with Kalita Air and those other CIA cutout airlines organizing weapons to be sent, and then he gets them down to these Russian ports that seemingly have other people with the Blackberries, these Teneo Blackberries, and that's going to be our friends, our good friends, Parnas, OK, and Wyansky. Fruman, again, I published Fruman's IP addresses along with Alan Apter of Teneo. Again, not speculating. We publish these IP addresses and show the connection. Remember, it does appear that they're diverting this money from the AFPAC Center, the Afghanistan-Pakistan Center at MacDill Air Force Base. When we get back to Florida, we're going to talk to Bergie about that, our private first-class Bergie, who actually configured Blackberries for these different covert missions for USAID, for various missions like CENTCOM, various missions and so forth. Remember, this is also where Pete Buttigieg is involved. There's a new article out now by our good friend Harry the Greek, who talks about how Pete Buttigieg was in this AFPAC Center as well, only in the financial crimes unit. Again, he's speaking 7 languages. We've got him playing soccer. We've got him with this name through a relative of his married to a Mifsud, also of Malta, also a 7-language polyglot speaker. We have all these universities that we've tied them to. Again, is Pete Buttigieg carrying a Teneo Blackberry? Was Pete Buttigieg involved in Tunisia, where we have him placed at the language school there, teaching people who are being inserted into Libya, especially for the takedown of Tripoli, to teach them language skills, Arabic in particular? Was he an Urdu expert and a Farsi expert for the Iran nuclear deal? I think you're going to find the answer to be that he was, along with George Papadopoulos. We're going to leave it right there, and we'll see you all tomorrow in the Bahamas.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.